Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina wa Habibina Mawlana Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim. I just want to check that you can all hear me, inshaAllah wa ta'ala. If you can just send me a quick message, inshaAllah, then I know that it's all good. Okay, Bismillah. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's all begin with the dua together. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Allahumma 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna 'ilma ya muqallib al-qulub. Thabbit qulubana 'ala dinik. Ameen. So Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh once again. I make dua that you and your family are doing well, inshallah ta'ala. That we are in the last few days of Ramadan, the last few blessed nights of Ramadan, and that you are making the most of it, inshallah ta'ala. It's our last week now. I think today is the 23rd day, so it's the last few days. So inshallah, the last stretch, we should try to push ourselves to take the most barakah from this month, and may Allah reward you for coming to learn Quran in this month of Ramadan. Allahu Ameen. So inshallah, what we'll do is we'll go straight into work. And I would like you to take out your workbooks. So if you can take out your workbooks and Nahwu workbook, and then we can go to the last exercise that we did. Which was exercise 4.1. Okay, so we're going to start here with our new lesson immediately, inshallah. For next week, there will be no class. I think it's most likely going to be Eid on Sunday, but whichever that is, next week we won't have class, and we'll carry on the week after that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, Bismillah. So in our last lesson we finished Jumlatul Fi'liya and Jumlatul Ismiya. And just to remind ourselves again, a Jumlatul Fi'liya is a verb-based sentence. Whenever I have a verb, I have a Jumlatul Fi'liya. And then I look for the fi'l, which is the verb, and then the fi'l has to have a doer, which is the fa'il, which will always be in raf'un, and I will find that fa'il either at the end of the verb, on the left of the verb, or inside the verb, and it often has a maf'ulun bihi. And then we also learnt about a jumlatul ismiya, which is a noun-based sentence, and that has a mubtada and a khabar, a rajulu tawilun, and the mubtada is the focus of the sentence. It's always in raf'un. It's normally ma'rifah at the beginning, and the second word is the khabar, gives you news about the focus of the sentence, and that's also in raf'un, and that's generally nakira. So that's what we did in the last lesson. So in this lesson, inshallah, we're going to continue with Siffa and Mawsuf. So I think you did go through this last time in the last lesson. But let's go through it again, inshallah. We'll look at some of these examples. The first example reads Rajulun Tawilun. Rajulun Tawilun means what? Means a tall man. And the next one is Ar-Rajula At-Tawila means the tall man. And the next one, Ar-Rajulani At-Tawilani means the two tall men. And the fourth one, Al-Binti As-Saghirati means the small girl. So just based on those few examples, listen just to all of it quickly. Baytan Saghiratan means, or Bintan Saghiratan means a small girl. And the last one here, Al-Bintaini as-saghirataini means the two small girls. So, based on these examples, we discussed some patterns that we found. Who wants to remind me of the patterns that we found? In this construction, there are definite patterns that occur in all of them. So you can remind me about some of the patterns that you see here. رجل طويل الرجلة الطويلة الرجلان الطويلان. So we can see there's patterns on the Arabic words, and there's also in terms of the translation we can see a few things. Number one, the translation of all of these are not sentences. They are not. It's not a man is tall and the girl is small. It's not a full sentence. That's the first thing. So alhamdulillah, we have some feedback here. The second word will have the same gend as the first word. Okay, good. So that the second word, for example, in the first example, rajulun, we can say four things about rajulun. We can say it's male, masculine. We can say it's raf'un. We can say it's single, and we can say it's indefinite. And therefore, tawilun will be masculine, raf'un, single, indefinite. Okay, so basically, in summary, if you want to summarize it, you'll say that the second word, the function of the second word, first of all, is to describe the first word. So let's do that first. That the second word, in each of these cases, the second word is providing a description of the first word. And the second thing we notice is that the second word always matches the first word in terms of gender. In terms of gender, encasing, number, and definiteness. Number two, for example, here, if the first word is nasbun, the second word is nasbun. If the first word has an al, the second word has an al. For example, number three, if the first word is dual, ar-rajulani, the second word is also dual, at-tawilani. For example, number four, al-binti as-saghirati, if the first word is feminine, the second word is also feminine. Okay, so let's translate this quickly. Let's translate 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 until 14. Did we do this last week? I don't remember actually doing these answers last week. If you can just remind me. A week is a long time ago. So I can't remember. I think we probably did. I'm not sure. But you can give it to me again, inshallah. What is number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, and number 11? Can you just give me the translation of that? Just the Nariman says yes, and Brother Junaid says no. Okay, but give me the translation anyway. Oh, it was homework. Brother Junaid, did you know it was homework? Okay. Bismillah. So, al-muslimuna as-salihuna. Number 7. Al-muslimuna as-salihuna. So, so I must add the, and muslimuna as-salihuna, the pious Muslims. Okay, it's missing from your book. I'll help you find it, inshallah. Number 8, Muslimina Salihina. There's no al here. So number 8 is going to be, it's plural, ina. So it's going to be pious Muslims. Masjidun Kabirun. Masjidun is a mosque, a masjid, and it's indefinite. So a big masjid. Okay, let me just sort this out. And then al-baytah al-mubarakah. Al-baytah al-mubarakah. Al-bayt al-mubarakah, the blessed house. So hopefully you're marking your homework or doing your homework now. but you have to apply the examples, inshallah. Next one. الطلاب الصابرون. We'll notice that الطلاب there is a plural. The single is talib. So الطالب is the student, الطالبani is the two students, and الطلاب is a broken plural, and الصابرون is a sound male plural, sound masculine plural. So it doesn't matter the type of plural, they're both plurals. Okay, so we just notice that there with the number 11 is that they are both plurals, but different types of plurals, but that's fine. So at-tulab means the students, as-sabiruna means the patient, so it will be the patient students, male or mixed group. Next one, talibina sabirina, patient students with no the. القرآن الكريم. القرآن الكريم. Kareem can mean let's say noble. القرآن the noble Quran. And the last one, Rasulun Amin. Rasulin Aminin. Amin means let's say trustworthy. So a trustworthy messenger. Okay. What do we notice that's different about the English translation versus the Arabic text? What do you notice that's different about it? What's different about the way we say it in English versus the way we say it in Arabic? Look at those examples and give me your thoughts. Okay, mashallah, Sister Nabila says that the words are swapped in order. So what's interesting is that in English, well, let's say Arabic, in English you first give the description before you provide what you are describing. The almost keep in suspense. Like if I say a big, tall, hungry, angry, you know what I'm speaking about until I say what. You with me? Like it keeps you in suspense. But in Arabic, they first tell you what you're speaking about. You're speaking about a girl or a masjid or the students, and then afterwards they provide the description. You with me? So in Arabic, the sequence is that you first state what you're speaking about. So example number 9, I first say masjid. Okay, I'm speaking about a masjid. Then I say, what about the masjid? Kabirun, a big masjid. Whereas in English, you first say a big, and then you say masjid. So the difference here is that the word being described or the object being described comes first, and the description or the adjective comes second. In English, the adjective comes before the thing you are describing. Make sense so far? Okay. So just to summarize, let me go back to the slide quickly. Just to summarize, okay, let's learn the terms quickly. Let's learn the terms. Okay. So ar-rajulu at-tawilu. So now you're with me? We're going to learn our new terms now. Ar-rajulu at-tawilu translates as the tall man. The tall man. Now, that phrase, and these are all going to be phrases or fragments of sentences, not actual sentences, these phrases or fragments. This phrase here consists of two words. The first word is what is being described. The first word is what is being described. and the second word is the description. The first word is what is being described, and the second word is the description. So the thing being described always comes first, and the description or the adjective or the describing word comes second. So all we're going to do is we're going to give you the Arabic terms for those two. So the first word is called al-mawsuf, or you can say mawsuf as well without the al. Let's actually say it without the al, it's actually easier. Let's just say mawsuf. So the first word is what? Mawsuf. Say it together in your house, wherever you are, say it aloud. Mawsuf. So you get used to the word. It's important to interact with the language. So mawsuf. So mawsuf is what? Is the thing or person or entity being described. Mawsuf. You with me? And then the description or the adjective is called Siffa. Siffa. Not Siffa with a sin, it's with a sad. Siffa. Okay, so we're going to say Siffa. One more time, Siffa. So this construction is Mawsuf, Siffa. Mawsuf and Siffa. Mawsuf and Siffa. Say those two together. Mawsuf and Siffa. Or you could say al-mawsuf and as-sifa. Same thing. The mawsuf and the sifa, or a mawsuf, a sifa. The same thing really. Okay. So this construction. So let me just take a pause for 1 second. We did. Do I have it in the slide here? Let me see if I have it in the slide here. We did jumlatul fi'liya, because sometimes students get confused and start adding more and more and more. But let's just keep it simple. We did jumlatul fi'liya. When you think about jumlatul fi'liya, you think about 3 things. You think about 3 parts. And what are these? These are fi'l, the verb, because the verb makes a jumlatul fi'liya, and the fa'il, which is the doer, which is in raf'un, which you find via eli, end left to in, and maf'ulun bihi, which is the object or the done upon in the sentence. When you come to a jumlatul ismiya, the parts you look for are mubtada and khabar. Mubtada and khabar. Mubtada is the focus of the sentence. It normally has an al. It is in raf'un, it's at the beginning. The khabar is news, information about the focus of the sentence. It normally doesn't have an al. You with me? So that are the 2 parts. For example, yeah, ar-rajulu tawilun is different because ar-rajulu yeah is mubtada and tawilun is khabar. So those are jumlas. But now when we come to this construction here, it's a new construction. This construction we're going to call the Mawsuf Siffa construction. So what do we call it? We call it the Mawsuf Siffa construction. One more time. It's called what? Say it aloud. Mawsuf Siffa construction. Okay. If there's someone in the room there, tell them you're learning about Mawsuf Siffa today. Okay. So what do you have to know about this construction? You have to know that this construction, so the heading here reads here, how to identify, not identify, identify a mawsuf and a sifa. First of all, it's going to be 2 words. 2 words. And the second word, the function of the second word is to describe the first word. So that's the first thing. Before we even go to gender and matching hal and all those things, the second word must describe the first word. For example, ar-rajulu al-tawilu, rajul means the man and tawil means tall. The function of the word tall is to describe the man. Okay, it's important. So linguistically, the second word must be placed there to describe the first word. And then, number 2, the mawsuf and sifa. What's mawsuf again? Mawsuf is the what is being described, and sifa is the description. The mawsuf and sifa must agree in 4 things. And in brackets it says there with a smiley face, most times. Because we're going to have we're going to have some exceptions. Okay, we're going to pause now, Brother Junaid. Let me just first finish the slide, then we can pause, inshallah. First, so let's do this quickly together. The Mawsuf and Siffa must agree. So what's the Mawsuf? The Mawsuf is ar-rajulu. What's the Siffa? At-tawilu. Ar-rajulu at-tawilu. The Mawsuf and Siffa must agree in 4 things. In other words, G for gender, they must both be male or both female. The encasing, they must both be raf'un, both be nasbun, or both be jarrun. The number, they must either both be single or both be dual or both be plural. And the definiteness, they must both be definite or both indefinite. Okay. So Brother Junaid is asking here, what is the difference between mubtada and khabar and mawsuf and sifa? Can I ask the class to answer? So who wants to venture an answer? The question is, what is the difference between mubtada and khabar and mawsuf and sifa? What's the difference between ar-rajulu tawilun and ar-rajulu at-tawilu? Okay. So Brother Junaid, I preempted your question, therefore I have a slide prepared on your question. Okay. So let's look at the 2 sentences on the screen. The first sentence reads ar-rajulu tawilun. Ar-rajulu tawilun. Can you translate the first one for me? Bismillah. What's the first one? I need to translate the first one. And then the second one, how do you translate the second one? The second one is ar-rajulu at-tawilu. So the first one is translated as the man is tall. The man is tall. Why do I translate it as the man is tall? Because I look at ar-rajulu and look at tawilun. And I realize that ar-rajulu is definite, raf'un comes first, it's the focus of the sentence. And I see tawilun is indefinite, raf'un, it's the khabar, it's giving me news about the focus. Therefore there's a mubtada khabar construction. And for that I have to add an is or an are in the middle. Okay. Then I look at number 2, ar-rajulu at-tawilu, they're both the same. They're both raf'un, they're both single, they're both masculine, they're both definite. And the second word is describing the first word. Therefore, it's going to be the tall man. Okay. And the third one here is what? Rajulun tawilun. The third one is what? Rajulun tawilun is what? Means a tall man. Rajulun tawilun means a tall man. Oopsie. What am I doing here? Okay. So those are. So okay. So let me go to Brother Junaid's question directly. What are the differences? Because it's important to understand the differences. Let me go to the next slide. There's the same thing in there. Ar-rajulu tawilun and ar-rajulu tawilun. Those are the 2 sentences. I want to compare these 2. In the first one, ar-rajulu tawilun. In that first one, it is a sentence. Okay, so it has a complete meaning. So in terms of the construction, it's a sentence. It is the man, which is the focus of the sentence, and tawilun is tall, is giving me information about the focus. So I'll translate that as the man is tall, and the first part is called mubtada, and the second part is called khabar. In the second one, ar-rajulu at-tawilu, it is a phrase or a fragment or a compound. It's not a sentence. In other words, we're still waiting for the rest of it. The tall man is what? The tall man is what? The tall man is a student, for example. Or the tall man is a Muslim. We're waiting for the rest of the sentence. It's only a part of the sentence. It's a fragment. So ar-rajulu at-tawilu is the tall man, and those two parts are called what? What do we call ar-rajulu there and at-tawilu there? What are those two parts called? Anybody? So ar-rajulu is called Mawsuf, and at-tawilu is called what? Siffa. Mawsuf, Siffa. Okay. So yes. So let's go through the differences in terms of the way it looks. In terms of the way it looks, you with me? Just follow me with me here. I must say I do miss teaching in person, because normally when you teach and you have like feedback and interaction, so I just imagine you imagine you giving feedback. But just focus 1 second. There's a difference in the way it looks, number one. How does it look different? In the first one, the mubtada khabar, first difference, it will always be raf'un. You with me? In the Mawsuf Siffa one, it could be ar-rajulu at-tawilu, it could be ar-rajula at-tawila, it could be ar-rajuli at-tawili. Okay, that's the first difference in the way it looks. Is that in the first one, it will always be raf'un, and because the mubtada is always raf'un and the khabar is always raf'un. But in the second one, it could both be raf'un, or could both be nasbun, or could both be jarrun. Second difference in the way it looks is that in the first one, that the first word has an al is definite, and the second word doesn't have an al, it's indefinite. So it doesn't match in terms of definiteness. Whereas the second one, it's going to always match in terms of definiteness. If it's al here, it must be al there. If there's no al here, it must be no al there. Okay, so those are the basic difference in the way it looks. Then in terms of meaning, the first one is a mubtada khabar construction, so it's a sentence, and the second one is a mawsuf sifa construction, so it's not a sentence. Yes, so basically you write in the fragment, in this let's call it the mawsuf sifa. In this mawsuf sifa construction, the hal doesn't have to be raf'un, it can be raf'un, nasbun, or jarun, depending on other reasons, but they're going to match completely. They're going to match in every aspect. Okay, I'll go through some quick examples on the screen just so we make sure we've recapped it. Will the noun-based sentence agree in gen? The noun-based sentence will always be, okay, so let's go back to noun-based sentence. The noun-based sentence will always be raf'un. So let's just say it will always be raf'un, and raf'un in terms of the encasing. In terms of gender, it will generally agree, unless you're going to say something weird like the man is a woman, then it won't agree. Do you know what I mean? But that's like a weird thing to say, but not so weird nowadays, because like weird is normal nowadays. But in general language, when you give you information about a man, the information will also be masculine. So generally it will agree in gender. And in terms of number, it will also generally agree also. So that answers your question. In terms of gender, yes, it will generally agree. In terms of encasing, it will agree because they're both always raf'un. And in terms of number, it will generally agree as well. Okay. It's tough times with Tawfiq, tell you. But anyway, we just stick to Arabic here. Let's leave the gender debates, inshallah. I mean, okay, I can't sometimes help to drift from the topic for a moment. I mean, what's interesting about some of these gender debates? I mean, I'm not whether someone wants to. Basically, there's two schools when it comes to gender. There's one school called the constructivist approach, and there's one school called the essentialist approach. So essentialist is basically the Islamic approach, which basically means that your gender is linked to your biology, whereas the constructivist approach says that gender is linked to a social construct. Therefore, you can detach your social role from your biological reality. So that's basically the two kind of camps when it comes to gender. But what I find interesting is that we're coming to a situation in the world where someone else can impose something on you, but it's actually false. So I'm just to take just a weird example. For example, say someone wants to be known as a cat, and then we're coming to a situation where it's almost going to become socially expected for me to say that human being is a cat because they identify as a cat, which is obviously not true in like a scientific way or in a biological way, or just in terms of new human understanding that the human being is human being and a cat's a cat. But you kind of get this imposition. I'm just drifting here, but I'm just get back to my Siffa Mawsuf. But there's something which is actually very, let's call it militant about it, is that it almost becomes like an imposition on everybody. Like everybody has to buy in to something. And therefore, in a few years, we won't have a male and female section in the shop anymore. You won't have male clothes and female clothes and male toys for the kids and female toys for the kids. It'll actually disappear completely from our stores as well, because it's become such an imposition, even on those who don't buy into that understanding. So in a sense, it's actually very kind of imposing, and it's very intolerant, that approach. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back to where we are. We're back with Siffa and Mawsuf. And we are back. Okay, sorry. You're back? Okay. So, the Siffa Mawsuf, you with me? This construction here. Yeah, but in all, I see there's a comment here from the Doddy bot. That name is a bit ambiguous. Anyway, let's go back here. Muslimatun salihatun and Muslimun salihun. Can you see if it's Muslimatun, then the Siffa will be salihatun, because Muslimatun is feminine, therefore the Siffa must match it. And if it's salihun, it will be Muslimun salihun, masculine. Now, Muslimatani salihatani, Muslimani salihani. Can you say Muslimatani is a feminine, therefore I use salihatani. Muslimani is masculine, therefore I use salihani. And the same thing, Muslimatun is a feminine plural, feminine plural, and therefore I use salihatun. And Muslimuna is masculine, and therefore I use salihuna. So they must always match in gender. If you look at the last two, that's interesting. Darun jamilatun aynun jariyatun. What's a dar again? A dar is a house, but remember that a dar is a feminine word. It's one of those that are deemed feminine. So even if it's going to be a deemed feminine word, I'll use a feminine Siffa, jamilatun, because dar is feminine. And ayn, remember, ayn is a eye, also a spring. Ayn is a feminine word. Therefore, I use the word jariyah. Ayn means a spring in this sense, and jariyah means running, a running spring. Okay, so the point being, they both match in terms of gender. In terms of encasing, they must always match. For example, if ar-rajulu is in raf'un, at-tawilu will be in raf'un. If rajulu is a nasbun, at-tawila will be nasbun. If rajulun is jarrun, rajuli, then at-tawili will be in jarrun. Same with muslimuna, salihuna, muslimina, salihina. Okay. In terms of number, same thing. They single muslimatun salihatun, or they dual muslimatani salihatani, or they can be plural, rijalun salihuna. It doesn't matter what type of plural. It's just that they're both plural. Like rijalun is a broken plural and salihuna is a sound plural. It doesn't matter. Nisa'un, salihatun. Nisa means females, women, plural as well. Salihatun. No. For deemed feminine, yes, they will put an F in the dictionary. For deemed feminine, they will put an F in the dictionary next to the word. So we'll know, therefore, it's going to be feminine. But there are very, very, very few deemed feminine words. There may be like, I don't know, 25 or so in the whole language. So there are very few. But there will be an F in the dictionary. And the last thing is definiteness. Baytun saghirun, al-baytu, as-saghiru, and so on. Okay. I want us to go back to our homework and we're going to end with this, inshallah. Your homework was worksheet 4.2. 4.2. So let's do your homework here quickly together. So we marked 1 to 6 in the last lesson. We went over it. So let's do number 7 is bintun mu'minatun. Bint means a girl and mu'mina means a believer. So bintun mu'minatun means a believing girl. So if I had to make a Siffa Mawsuf here, al-binti will become what? Al-binti will become what? I want to make a Siffa Mawsuf description. Al-binti will be what? As al-mu. Okay, let me just. Al-binti will become will become mu'minati. Al-binti will be al-mu'minati. And that will be the believing girl. Okay. So bintani. So all I do is I keep matching it. For example, if bintani has no al, then I put no al on the mawsuf. If bintani is dual, I must make it mu. You can give me the answers as well. Mu'minatani. You with me? And that will be two believing girls. Then if it's al-bintani, it's going to become al-mu'minatani. Al-bintani, al-mu'minatani, because if this is al, this must be al. If this is dual, this must be dual. If this is raf'un, then al-mu'minatani must be raf'un. If this is feminine, must be feminine. So same story. The two believing girls. Then banat. Banat is a broken, not a broken plural. Yeah, it's known as like a sound plural. Banatin. Banat is going to be similar to a sound plural, but in a banatin is plural. So then I must make it plural for mu'mina as well. So banatin will be banatin mu'minatin. And that's going to be believing girls. And the last one here, al-banatu will become al-mu'minatu, which will become the believing girls. Okay, so that's going to be your homework answers. For homework, I want you to do number 14. Okay, you can leave this one out actually. You can do exercise 4.3. Oopsie, my 4.3 looks weird. Exercise 4.3. Okay. However, okay, actually just do the whole 4.3. All you must do is from the Quran. So 4.3 is Siffa and Mawsuf from the Quran. And you're going to do 4.3, you're going to simply translate it and you're going to identify where is the Siffa with a Sa'd above it and where's the Mawsuf with a Meme Sa'd above it, and you're going to translate number 1 to 20. Okay, that's all for now. And there's going to be some strange things while you're busy with it, which means that you're going to find some of the examples is not going to conform to the rule. So even if you come across an example like that, try to translate it, try to highlight and say, why doesn't this conform to the rule? And then I'll tell you why in 2 weeks time, inshallah. Okay, so your homework is just number 1 to 20, 4.3. Okay, how do I change it back to Arabic? So basically, if you have a keyboard, you can just, there's normally a shortcut key. In Mac and Windows, there's a shortcut key. So I just use a shortcut key to change back from language to language. You can just Google what it is, or sometimes you can set your own shortcut key as well to change the languages. Okay, good. Are you all good? Give me a yes if you're okay still. I know you're passing a long time now. Are you guys okay? Allah. Any questions? Today we're making more time for sarf, inshallah.